Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's a house!
You know, that's just one step above stupid. 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
Huh?
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
It's a house!
Still no doggy camera. Anyways, wow, I'm all over the place in the images, the videos. Is that one better? No, still not that good. Alright. Alright, so we had the morning session notes right now, alright? So we're going to go over those. We're not going to waste time chatting. We're just going to go right over this right now. If you feel like supporting the channel during this, feel free to do so. Here we go. I had to renumber them. They weren't in order. So this is Richard Allen trial, Tuesday, October 22nd. Broadcast notes. Allen wearing glasses on head looks at jurors as they are seated. Brian Olehe, it seems like prosecution puts boxes of evidence on the table. 137, large size 10 shoe collected at Creek, and that's going to be Libby's black Nike sneaker, just so you know. As a matter of fact, I can show you a picture of that right here. Okay, that's the black Nike sneaker that they found in the creek. Okay, right there. 138, Hollister blue jeans 26 by 33 found in creek. Those are going to be Abby's jeans in the creek. She had tight, kind of skinny type jeans, and those are hers because we know that she was wearing Libby's jeans. We just didn't know if her pants were underneath the other pants. Now we know that, just like I was talking about last night, it sounds like it might be pretty accurate what I was talking about in terms of like the clothing. Abby's sweatshirt and pants were still on, you know, they weren't thrown in the creek yet, and they were put on, Libby's jeans that she was wearing and Libby's sweatshirt weren't in the creek, but her tie-dye shirt and other items of hers were in the creek. And her shoes, one of the shoes, the other shoe was underneath Abby, and the cell phone was underneath the shoe. It wasn't inside the shoe like many people are just saying over and over and over again. 139, extra large shirt from Deer Creek. That's probably the tie-dye shirt. 140, gray hooded sweatshirt from Creek. That is, I'll show you what that is. That's this right here. Okay, so that's Abby's sweatshirt is in the creek. And 141, Sonoma pink underwear from Creek. I do have a picture of that right here. I mean, that's the picture you're seeing on the screen right there. I believe those are what that is. And 142, black and purple sock from Creek. 143, pink sock from Creek. I don't know if we can see, can't really see who was wearing which. 144, green headscarf from Creek. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Who's wearing that? 143, pink sock from Creek, and then green headscarf. Then 145, black large shirt from Creek. I think that's probably the undershirt that Libby was wearing. Took item from crime scene to, let's see. Took items from crime scene to the post. Converse shoe right, Converse shoe left from Abigail. So that's 146 and 147. So after they took the shoes off, they took the pictures. 148, Smith & Wesson cartridge from crime scene. 149, fingers of Abigail's strand of hair. So that's what it's a picture of her fingers, and there's a strand of hair in her hand. So they actually had a picture of that. 150, another strand. 151, swab from, let's see. And thank you, Your Gypsy. And thanks for your, I think you sent a PayPal or something, didn't you, earlier? With a nice message. Thank you. And this one is swab inside Libby's right wrist. 153, swab above belly button of Libby. 154, swab thigh above knee of Libby. 155 is a, let's see, strand of fibers from Libby's pinky finger. 156, blood stain on tree swab. 157, black Nike tennis shoe from Abigail. So that was underneath her. Well, actually, I mean, she has black shoes too, so I'm not really sure how they're, what they're saying there. But there was a black Nike sneaker under her, but her shoes are like those black Chuck Taylor types. I mean, you can see it right here. See? And she was wearing those when they found her, but they were off at one point. So that's a very interesting element of the crime scene, is that I think, you know, Abby and Libby were both in, you know, various forms of being nude. Like, Libby's completely nude, okay? Abby still has on the pink or maroon shirt that I call it. To me, this looks maroon, but I can see how that's pink. It's just the lighting that makes it look darker. So yeah, I mean, that's probably a pink undershirt there. And so she does have that on in the crime scene photo underneath Abby or Libby's sweatshirt that she's wearing. So she's wearing Libby's sweatshirt. She has that on. But her shoes, she wouldn't have been able to put those pants on with her shoes on. And she didn't have her socks on either. So obviously she was dressed and then put the shoes on. And it's almost like he kind of changed his mind on her. Like he maybe was concerned that she was cold or something. You know, like, I'm just saying, it's really bizarre, right? You know, like he had some sort of remorse in some way, and that's probably why they did the shack little reference in 2019, because why is she dressed again? And then at the last minute he goes, I can't risk it, and he killed her. And she dies right there, and she dies slowly, apparently, according to the Frank's memorandum. And you see her with her hands tucked up. You know, she's holding her sweatshirt with both wrists. I showed you guys last night, and I mean you know, how she was doing it with my sweatshirt. And so that's, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird stuff. Like, why would you have her dress only to kill her again? So it's almost like he changed his mind or something at the end. You know? What do you guys think? Pretty wild, pretty wild. Anyway, swab, thigh, above knee, strand of fiber. I think we're down here. Black Nike tennis shoe from, well, it does say black Nike tennis shoe from Abigail Williams, but that was underneath her, because she didn't have a black Nike tennis shoe. That's Libby's. Let's see, and the next one is swab, blood from ground. 159, swab around near Liberty's feet, blood, swab around near Liberty's head. Swab ground, so this is swab ground near Liberty's head, and then swab ground near tree, presence of blood. 162, swab blood, tree body, I'm not sure, tree body of, between body of Abigail Williams, something like that. And then 163, swab red stain below Abigail Williams' head. And then number 164, swab from tree with red stains. See, these pants right here would be virtually impossible, and is impossible, to put over these shoes here, right? So at one point, and I don't think you could even take these jeans off over those shoes, because these are those skinny, tight jeans. So that means these shoes were off at one time. Her pants were removed. There's underwear in the creek. She is wearing this shirt in the crime scene photo. This shirt right here is in the water. These jeans are in the water. But she's wearing these shoes and this shirt. But she has on the black like swim sweatshirt, Delphi High School swim sweatshirt that Libby had on, and she has Libby's jeans on. I mean, that's some crazy crap right there, you guys. So I think she dressed herself even, because I think it would be very difficult. And I think she was still alive when she was dressed. That's why her hands are curled up like that. You can't pose somebody like that, gripping the end of a sweatshirt and, you know, sort of clinching it underneath you, okay? All right, so let's go on to page 2 here. 165, swab red stain from tree. 166, swab finger of Liberty German. 167, swab left pinky finger, Liberty German. 168, cellular phone, iPhone. 169, swab from phone. I mean, it sounds like these guys did pretty extensive, you know, testing and swabbing. All placed in temporary secure storage with limited access. You know, and this is all going to end up being, did any of the swabbing lead to Richard Allen? The answer is no. But it led to nobody. Okay, so it's like somebody took the precautions to not be identified. So why can't it be Richard Allen? Richard Allen is the guy. He said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. He parked his car at the abandoned CPS building. A vehicle matching his drove by at 1:27 just as he was about to park the car. He's seen by 3 girls as he comes in. He admits to seeing those 3 girls. Then Betsy Blair sees the same person wearing exactly the same clothing that Richard Allen said he was wearing. Then Abby and Libby come up behind and they're going to run into Richard Allen. And then Richard Allen, a gun that he cycled a bullet through at the end of the bridge to get the girls to go down the hill. That bullet was ejected from the gun at the crime scene, and it matched the ejection marks of Richard Allen's gun, and that linked to it. Then he confessed 63 times in jail, okay, in prison, with information that only the killer knows. Richard Allen is the bridge guy, everybody, and he is the killer, despite what people want to believe. Now, it's possible that the defense team will be able to sell a bunch of bullshit to a bunch of willing people. We know they exist. You see them show up into these chats on a daily basis, ranting and raving how Richard Allen is so innocent. He's the most innocent guy in the world, and he just isn't. Okay? If you have any common sense or logic at all, he is, though, Gray. It's innocent until proven guilty, you bastard. Anyways, 170, swab from Liberty German's autopsy left thigh. 171, swab Abigail right thigh. 172, swab. Today's the autopsy stuff, so this is the morning session. I'm sure it gets into detail later. You know, it's not gonna be good. It's gonna suck. Swab Liberty German's right thigh, swab Liberty German's right breast, swab Liberty German's left breast, sexual assault evidence kit from Abigail Williams, sexual assault evidence kit from Liberty German, trace fiber, or on 176, Abigail Williams' upper left arm, 177, black hooded, Delphi swimming sweatshirt, blood-stained German. Now, I think it says, when it says German on the back, it doesn't say the word German on the back. I don't know, the wording's kind of poor there, but I think what they're saying is, just like I was wondering last night, I wonder if there's any blood on the sweatshirt from Libby that Abby's wearing. And it sounds like that Liberty German's blood is on the back of it. I find that interesting. And by the way, if you guys could help support the channel today, that'd be great. The words that are being used in this document will preclude it from having any ads on it. All right. So we got Your Gypsy and C3885 up there. 3835. Let's see. Then it's jeans, extra large, red stains, and dirt. So those are going to be Libby's jeans that Abby was wearing. Gray cotton bra with red stains. So I think that's one that Abby was wearing because Libby had no bra on, but I think it was transferred over to Abby. I don't know. It's pretty weird. There was some information that she had 2 bras on. 180 pink sleeve shirt with red stains. 181 black bra. 34A with red stains. Jurors allowed to examine 146 through 148 to see how they are packaged and sealed. Allen looks at jurors as they pass the evidence around. 123, photo, autopsy, Abigail Williams, some clothing items, pink shirt, presumed blood, sweatshirt was still damp, taken to drying lab to preserve evidence. Hmm. 123, photo autopsy, Abigail Williams, some clothing items, pink shirt, presumed blood, sweatshirt was still damp, taken to drying lab to preserve evidence. And then Rosie cross-examined. One of the most common rounds, right, referring to the .40 caliber, and he goes, I would say no. Presents swab to witness. Any info from the swab to link Mr. Allen? He said no. 152 presented. No info generated to connect Richard Allen to the crime. Right. we all knew that, right? Like, there is nothing at the crime scene, and there's nothing to indicate anybody. So everybody goes, how could Richard Allen do it? And then they want to make it seem like there's 4 people at the crime scene, and then you're going to say that those people got in and out of there with not leaving a trace? It seems like one person might be able to do that, especially if you don't have much hair on your head, and let's say you wore gloves. You know, maybe you put gloves on at a certain point. Thank you, Angela Pepper. Appreciate that. Very kind, very kind. Number 156, no. You know, it's kind of weird the order that they did. Let me see what this one. So this goes down. Yeah, 154. And then over here, 156, no connection found. 158, no info to connect Richard Allen to the crime. Did you... let's see. Did you ever speak to anyone involved with analysis of items about results that include bullet fragments? Answer, not that he's aware of. Ask about crime scene integrity and private info. Aware of any information above, let's see, about breach of crime scene? He's not aware. Were there unique circumstances? One got naked, other, you know, like I said, it's like one get naked, it looks like. And then other deceased. Yes, sticks laying on bodies. Did you think let's see, the way the bodies were there was an attempt to communicate something? He said no. You waited to collect sticks days later. Yes. Some of the clothing appeared too large for Abigail. German, I can't read that small word, was disrobed and items wound up. Abigail, yes. Did you do testing? Let's see, German was disrobed and items wound up on Abigail. Yes, we went through that. Yeah, well, who cares, Teresa? She's... See, the person you just mentioned, Teresa, is somebody that knows nothing about the case. She hasn't been covering it, and I could tell when I listened to her the other day, Absolutely has no clue what's going on. All right? It's amazing. Didn't even know where the crime scene was. Didn't know anything. So if you want to listen to that shit, you go right ahead. It's an embarrassment. It's just clicks and views because it's a popular case. We've been covering it for 7 years. Anyways, did you do testing on sticks to see what type of tree, where they came from? No. That's ridiculous. Hey, because they were brought in from the outside. Signs of foot traffic in area. Yes. Search party. Could compromise the integrity of the crime scene. Yes. Was there any effort to learn more from shoe impressions? Not that he's aware of. Any attempts to lift fingerprints? No. It says the sticks were dirty and not a good source for fingerprints. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Bullock. It's amazing. See, that's what I mean. See how that person showed up in here? They don't have a clue about Delphi themselves. They're just a big fan of the person that they mentioned, and they have no clue what's been going on all these years and the information that's out there. And I can tell you, just from listening for 5 minutes, they don't know. And they're not able to sort of think and connect things while they're talking because they don't know about it. Signs of foot traffic and are greatly like they can in area. Yes, search party. Could they compromise the integrity of the crime scene? Yes. Was there any effort to learn more from shoe impressions? Not that he's aware of. Any attempt to lift fingerprints? No. Say the sticks were dirty and not a good source for fingerprints. Unique aspect on tree making a strange line. Let's see, it says, when I looked at it, it looked like a large transfer of blood. Did you attempt to preserve that part of the tree with photos, not physical evidence? And it says, with photos, not physical evidence. Question, why they didn't employ blood spatter experts sooner? Could a blood spatter expert help establish timeline? I'm not aware. I'll go over all this stuff again later too, because we have to put the whole day together on the live stream later. Not much disturbance at crime scene. No searchers, animals, etc. You were not able to determine time of death. Not a precise science, can't say. Yeah, and it seems like, though, I mean, I don't know how early their breakfast was. I mean, if it was like at 9 in the morning and they die at 3, it could have already processed through their stomach by that time. Is there anything unusual about finding a cartridge in Indiana? Much more likely to find a shotgun round than a handgun round. Our wooded areas, I mean, look at how ridiculous this is. They find a .40 caliber bullet right next to the girls, and somehow it's just some random hunter that dropped it there. Is that reasonable to anybody? When Richard Allen himself owns a Sig Sauer P226 that shoots .40 caliber, he had chambered a bullet at the end of the bridge, and I think he ejected it so there wasn't a live round in the gun, because he's already killed the girls. He doesn't need to, like as a last resort, shoot them as they're running off or something. He ejects it, and in that ground, he couldn't find it. And I think that makes sense, because the ground is literally covered with these small little leaves and twigs and branches, and it probably, he ejects it, fumbles it out, and he's looking around. He's panicking already a little bit, so he's not like acutely focused on the bullet. Here, before we move any further, I'm going to show you guys, because there's people showing up here that have no clue. All right, here it is, everybody. This is the case. I made an animation months ago. All right, here we go. This is it. This is the timeline information. Richard Allen stated to Dan Doolin a few days after the homicide, he called into the tip line himself to tip himself in, and I believe he did that to get ahead of the story, get ahead of it, and see what the police had, because 3 girls saw him on the trails, and he works at a public job. Also, it could be that it's just after the image was released of him, and that even made him more nervous. All right. However, he said he got there at 1:30 and left at 3:30. See these 3 dots right here? There's 3 girls. There's actually a 4th girl that's like 9 years old, and that's not one of the, Richard Allen didn't see her. So there's 3 girls, and there's a 4th, a small little girl too. And that was at 12:43 at the bridge. They had got there probably at 12:20. So Richard Allen's second story, where he got there at noon and left at 1:30, is also bogus. And if you realize the defense team is saying Richard Allen left by 2:15, well, that already proves that his story is a lie when he said he got there at 12 to 1:30, because they're saying he left by 2:15. Okay, so they're admitting he lied in that one. So anyways, you got 3 girls right here, and he's walking down the trail. They're walking down the trail, and eventually at 1:26, they're over here. I mean, they're just hanging out, taking pictures, having fun. 1:26, right there. Then 1 minute later, watch this black car come in from the right. It's kind of small, but can you see that? There it is. And passes the camera on this building, the Hoosier Harvest Store. And it goes by at 1:27, and it parks, backs in at the abandoned CPS building here. And then, probably 1:29, 1:30 gets out, and then 1:35 passes the girls right there. Those 3 girls saw him, and he saw them. Then Richard Allen continues down the path, because he said after passing the girls, he went straight to the Monon High Bridge. Takes 11 minutes. That means he would have got to the bridge at 1:46. Now look at this. We're just a minute before that. Betsy Blair in the red vehicle up there is driving underneath the old State Road 25 and looks up and sees the 4 girls. Then she drives around and she parks right here just as Richard Allen is hanging out at the bridge. He just got there. He had no time to sprint like Carl Lewis back this way to be past her for her not to see him. So look at, he goes like this. Betsy Blair in yellow. 2 minutes after she got there, Abby and Libby were dropped off. She walks to the bridge, and there's Richard Allen standing there on platform 1. She looks at him from 50 feet away, turns around, and then passes Abigail Williams and Liberty German. So as she continues to do her hiking, Abigail, Libby and Abby reach the bridge guy, and the bridge guy, I think, sort of walks back a little bit like this to wait and make them feel safe to cross that bridge. And then if you look up above, Betsy Blair's still walking, and then at some point Richard Allen follows the girls across, and at the end of the bridge says, guys, down the hill, and Betsy Blair is in her vehicle and drives away at the exact same moment that the girls are taken down the hill, and he's over here and he kills them. He leaves the bullet that he had chambered when he said down the hill to the girls was ejected at the crime scene. Okay, and it was found. And then at 3:57 he's walking apparently up here, and Sarah Carbaugh sees him, but I don't really even care about that sighting, because even if she didn't see anybody, then that means the person at the crime scene got away somehow, just like the person at the crime scene didn't leave any DNA regardless if it's Richard Allen or not. See, that's what's crazy, right? So the circumstantial evidence in this case is ridiculous. He also confessed 63 times and some of those had information that had only information the killer would know. And I believe, everything was fine in prison, you guys. Everything was fine. Everything was great. He was reading books, eating, exercising daily. He found religion. He thought if he confessed, he would still go to heaven and be with his family later. So he told his wife and his mother that he did it, and he had information only the killer would know. And then his wife panicked and called his attorney, and then his attorney came by, and then Richard Allen, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, was as crazy as a lunatic. He was literally one of the craziest people on the planet at that point. Yeah, chewing paper, eating his own feces. He was doing all this crazy stuff. And then he started confessing. I think a lot of the confessions he did later were intentionally inaccurate to muddy the waters of the ones where he said stuff that only the killer would know. And law enforcement knows that it was all a trick and game. That's why his attorneys are some of the most unethical people on the planet. All right, so now let's get back to the notes here. Well, thanks, Archive Gig, and also up there to Tammy Lee and Cheryl Bullock. All right. Okay, did you see that, what I just laid out for you guys right there? Doesn't it make sense to you? How can that not be Richard Allen? He said he got there at 1:30 and his car drives by, a car matching his vehicle, drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store at 1:27. Now, if they have that same vehicle leaving a little after 4, he is toast. Hey, thanks, T. Chosen. I can't believe you're still here after I was so like an idiot yesterday. His video of girls on bridge went viral. Yeah, I mean, I have the videos right here. You talking about me? I have an animation that I made of the girls on the bridge. I don't know if you guys want to see that at all, but yeah, I don't know if this is the one. This might be the one I talk in. No, this is the good one. So this is how it was on the bridge. Libby's got her tie-dye shirt on, and this is Abby, hair in a bun, with the, I mean, it should have been gray, but it's, you know, looked kind of similar to that. A gray top on it. And then on this platform, platform number 3, Libby takes a picture of Abby. And there it is. There's Abby with her pink shirt, gray hoodie, blue jeans, Chuck Taylors, hair up in a bun. And then Libby gets off. And I made this like 5 years ago. Right? And I think this is exactly how it went. Just like this. See, look in the background here. You see him coming? And they were on here, and this is platform 3. They're almost at 4, and he's probably just he's just past platform 1, and they start like trying to get off the bridge quicker, but she's slow because she's never been on there before, and so she's still on the bridge. Libby is standing. Everybody, just know this is true. It is true. I've verified it. Libby is standing off the end of the bridge, just like that, and the phone is held down low, filming. And Abby's still on the bridge. The timing is a little different than that because Abby actually gets behind Libby, and then the guy comes up and says, "Guys, down the hill." All right? I'll let you watch it one more time here. Nah, but that's bullshit, Robert. There was no horns at the scene, so you can believe whatever the hell you want. But anyways, here's a photograph of the full length of the bridge, and that's right where that was, by Libby. And Abby is always behind Libby the whole time across because she's sort of coaxing and helping her along. And then here's that photograph again, using her iPhone 6, I think. See that? Boom. And that's a barrier back there. That's not a person. That's also not a person, and that's not a person. We've already gone through all this for years and years and years. All right. And there they are. Then they're going to continue down. I mean, this part here is the creepy part. This next one, like right here. There he is. Oh, here he comes. And they're just like, oh, shit. I did all the movement in those videos, too. Like, I'm the one walking. I recorded my movements using this program that I have called IPI Soft, where you have gloves on, and I don't know, it's a pretty crazy program, but I haven't used it for a long time, but used it back then, and there you go. Alright, so that is it. And that is right here. Okay, so that little video you just saw is at the end of this bridge right there, and then he has them go down the hill, everybody. So, you know, the true north-south orientation is like that. So on yesterday's trial, they said the north side of the bridge. I think they meant the north side of the south side, right? Because this is north up here. So they were right here, and they went down the hill like that. And then there's a private driveway down here. Then you go down another hill to the bottom level where it's flat. And then my original theory was that back in this corner here is where he was going to assault them. And perhaps they made an escape and he caught up with them over here, or something interrupted him here and he forced them across the creek. It's just strange that you would want to go into water. So I think there was a reason that made him take them over there. This area here is absolutely isolated. It's trees right along here, way thicker than they are out here, and right back in there is no visibility from anywhere. Very thick. So anyways, that was my theory. They were found right there. Okay, the cemetery, despite what Up Above's favorite YouTuber said, they said it was the crime scene was 40 yards from the cemetery. Absolutely bogus. It's 240 from here to there. All right. There you go. Now let's get back to the notes. There's only 5 pages. This is page number 4. Could a blood spatter expert help establish the timeline? I'm not aware. Not much disturbance at crime scene. No scavengers, animals, etc. You were not able to determine time of death? Not a precise science, can't say. And February 13th and February 14th, seen alive on February 13th, found dead on February 14th. I mean, it's so weird. It's like, it's strange that they even put this stuff in the notes, because it's just, everybody knows that's been covering this, but I guess there's this huge swath of people who've never heard of this. Is there anything unusual about finding a cartridge in Indiana? Much more likely to find a shotgun round than a handgun round. Are wooded areas places people in the country would shoot a gun? Yes. I would defer to an expert on guns. Presents photo of Deer Creek, flowing downstream. And yes, the stream flows this direction, like that. Downstream is like this. All right. And by the way, we did research, 6-7 years ago, where the wind was blowing this direction. It was going just like this. And the high temperature that day was 43, not 57 like they said at trial yesterday. He was just using his notes. It was 43 degrees, 44. That was the high that day. It was just sunny, so it felt warm. And you know how kids are, right? When it's warm outside, So the wind's blowing in this direction towards the crime scene. That would make it so that the people at the crime scene could hear anybody on the bridge or walking around really easily. However, people on the bridge wouldn't be able to hear people in this area very well at all, given the fact that there's a river, the wind's blowing in the wrong direction, and so that if there was any sound made, I don't know why everybody thinks people have to scream. I think when you're petrified, oftentimes, you just don't say anything. You're just quiet. And they're likely they were being controlled by the gun. He probably said something like, if you make noise, I'll do something. And so they were quiet, and he killed them. And I don't really understand why people think it's like, absolutely there is a scream, therefore how come nobody heard? It's just wild to me. It's a crazy assumption. Absolutely crazy to me. Yeah, did you search? Yes. Do you know where the items were discarded originally? I think you said yes to that. Did you search north of 300 north of 300? No. And 300, if you don't know, there's a road right here called 300 North is right here. This is a cemetery. They want to know if you search north of that. And the answer was no. Libby and Abby, this is where they were, right at this house. This is where Mike and Becky Patty live. The grandmother and step-grandfather of Libby. And Kelsey's the one that gave him a ride. So she drove from all the way up here, down like this, and then down to 300, and then made it to this area. And again, like we were showing in that animation, dropped them off at 149-ish right there. And then Kelsey drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store. Look at all the stuff that's on this Hoosier Harvest Store. 127, Richard Allen's black Ford Focus drives by. 146, Betsy Blair is coming this direction. 149, Kelsey's going this direction after dropping off the girls. 214, Betsy Blair is leaving the area. And then 228, a guy named Wesley McWhirter drove by and saw a vehicle backed in. And then 357 is when Sarah Carbaugh drove by here. And where she saw Richard Allen, we don't know. And see, that's a question that the reporters won't realize is interesting. You see what I'm saying? They're just going to go, yeah. They're not going to say where Sarah Carbaugh saw the muddy and bloody guy. All right? They're not going to care about that little significant piece of information. All right, back to this. It's important in this investigation to document, and he said, yes, it's important in these investigations to document, whatever. Yes. Did you do a poor job of documenting this piece of evidence? Is he going to say yes? Oh, wait, it says, do you wish you would have taken more pictures? He said no. They're referring to the bullet. And I think this is the last one. Photo of someone holding evidence sock. So somebody's holding a sock. Is this unprofessional? It wouldn't be my preferred method, he said. Did you discover defensive wounds on her body? I did not. Now when he says her body, who's her? Is that Abby? Prosecution, how many rounds found on the scene? 1. How many taken into evidence? 1. Documentation and preservation, most important thing. Did you place bullet in an individual package? Yes. Were you surprised not to find evidence of critter activity? No. I mean, come on. It was like, let's see. There was people walking around all the way through the evening, and they died between probably like 3 and 3:30-ish. It could be sooner, but... And then they're found noon the next day. So you're going to say that, wow, there had to have been... See, here's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that Abby and Libby were elsewhere. That after crossing the creek, or after being taken down the side of the bridge, this is what the defense is going to try to sell you guys. And just don't... It's just such garbage. It's almost embarrassing, all right? They want you to believe that Abby and Libby were taken down to this private drive after down the hill, and then somebody drove them away, okay? And then those same geniuses later brought them back to the same area that everybody's searching. And not only that, their bodies were wet, okay? They actually were wet, so that means they brought him back to this exact spot and had him walk across the creek and put him over here later. I mean, it's absurd, you guys. Why in the hell would anybody do that? Makes no sense at all. How many rounds? Okay, documentation, preserve, most important thing. Did you place bullet in an individual package? Yes. Were you surprised not to find evidence of critter activity? No. You could have paid more attention to the round found on the scene. And he says, I could have. Would you have taken more photos of ground where the bullet... And he says there were 2 or 3 close-ups he took. I don't know why you'd need to take more close-ups of a bullet on the ground. Jury questions. Did undergrowth appear to be disrupted under body as she was dressed? I'm not sure what that means. Under body as she was dressed. Oh, you mean like they dressed, like Richard Allen dressed, and I was using the singular they, okay? Did you hear Gray? He said they. He's saying there's multiple. No. I don't recall any area disturbed beyond movement of body. Yeah, I think she dressed herself, you guys. I think she put on those shoes. She put on the pants. She put on the sweatshirt. And she was still alive when she had those on, and that's why... I'll show you again with me here. I don't have the sweatshirt on, but this is what she was doing. Alright, so imagine I have the long sleeve sweatshirts on, and the sweatshirt goes past my fingers, right? And then you curl them up. You know how girls do that? They have their sweatshirt long, and they pull their arms up, and they grab the end of it. Abby was like this. Okay? She was laying there like this, and I think it's her right leg was under her left leg. Her right foot was under there. And so what that means to me is that she was alive and cold. Like she was literally cold doing like that. And then I think he killed her, but she was still alive, and she was cold, and she based on the Frank's memorandum, I mean, some of the stuff they put in there was accurate regarding, and they said that she lived longer. So was she alive and just trying to kind of stay warm, curling up her hands like that? It's really sad shit, you know. What was she thinking about at that point? Yeah, I know, but her hands are still clutched up like that. That means she was alive for a while. I already said that, Maya Pierce, 100 times. Did he do it for vids? Yeah, I don't know. You know, the thing is there's Keegan Kline was a person right before Richard Allen. As a matter of fact, a week before Richard Allen, there was a search of the Wabash River regarding Keegan Kline, who had a fake account called, an Anthony Schatz profile with this, model fireman guy, and he was using it to catfish people, and he was communicating with Libby that very weekend. He was communicating with her, and Libby really liked this person. And then 2 days after communicating with that person, or a day, and apparently the Anthony Schatz profile even said that he was supposed to meet the girls that day to one of Libby's friends, they said, but they just never showed up. So if that's true, that person was supposed to meet him there, which I doubt is real because there was never another person waiting around or anything like that anybody saw. But it's pretty wild, you guys, that we're gonna believe that Libby's communicating with a fat catfishing account, and at the very same time a random killer killed her. The thing is, the witnesses all said it looked like he was on a mission, coming in head down. He was trying to get somewhere. Was he aware that Abby and Libby were going to be there? They could never find a connection between Richard Allen and Keegan Kline. All right? I thought for sure there'd have to be. I mean, that's logical, right? I mean, it's almost common sense to think, oh, wow, she's communicating with a catfishing account. Does the catfishing account know that she's going to be at the bridge? Did that person let somebody else know? They could not find any evidence. However, what if it was analog information where they were, the person knew they were going to be there. It's out on the Dropbox account. For example, the Dropbox account of Keegan Kline led to one of the largest predator rings in Indiana state history. Okay, so is it possible that Richard Allen knew somebody that had access to that, and they said, hey, Richard, maybe talk to him. There's going to be these two girls that are going to be at the bridge. And he gets over there. But there's just no evidence at all. You know what I mean? Like an analog sort of transfer of information to him, just visually knowing, or somebody told him they were going to be there. That's what makes sense, but man, it's just, they said they can't find any connections, so you have to proceed in a trial without that information. Isn't that wild? You're lost, Gray. There's nothing that shows Richard Allen did this. That means you were dumb. Okay, I'm sorry, Kaz WW. It means that you are dumb. And that's okay. So there's a lot of dumb people in society. You'd be perfect for the jury. Let's see. What's down here? Jury questions. Did undergrowth appear to be disrupted under the body as she was dressed? See, they are assuming that she was dressed by somebody, but that's not accurate, I don't think. I think it's very difficult to put. So obviously, the jeans were put on first, then the shoes, because even if they're larger jeans, it'd be really difficult to slide. Dress somebody trying to slide through a shoe on through jeans. I think we've all tried it accidentally, and we fall over on our face onto the ground. Right. I don't really call any area disturbed beyond movement of body. Is it common to change gloves during evidence collection? I wear boxes of gloves. I wear 2 gloves at once. Was bullet collected in, or let's see, environment, or envelope or pillbox? Envelope. So somebody said pillbox. Oh, he steps down. There you go. There you go. So the bullet wasn't in a pillbox. It was put in an envelope. Thanks, Mine22. Man, you're so stupid, Kaz WW. It's unbelievable. See, that's what I have to deal with. Hey, let me ask you guys. You guys are all sitting here right now. Give me something, and thank you very much, Mindy22. Give me a question. This is what the defense team believes, that the bullet was planted or was just randomly dropped by a number of law enforcement agencies down there. They tried to trick people into believing that this is all about Odinism, meaning that there were, the person who really did the killing is an Odinist, and there are Odinists in the police department. And those Odinists in the police department wanted to protect one of their brethren. So they cleverly thought, you know what, let's sneak into this lackey's house. He goes out to the bridge sometimes. Let's go into Richard Allen's house and just do this. Take a bullet and then eject it from the gun. It won't make any noise really in the house, just a click sound, nobody will hear it. And then bring it out to the crime scene when and do it and have knowledge of it beforehand. So before you even do the killing, all right, make sure that you collect the bullet from Richard Allen's house so that you can leave it at the crime scene. All right? And then what we'll do is we'll investigate all these other people over the years, over and over and over again. And then what we're going to do is plant a couple of Odinists in the prison to make sure that you confess somehow. They're going to make sure you confess, and then, it just goes on and on. It's ridiculous. And then after investigating Keegan Kline and all these other people for years, immediately on a dime, they switch over back to their backup plan because Keegan Kline wasn't presenting enough information to pin it on him. So by God, they had to finally fall on their lackey, which is Richard Allen. So then they go, wow, let's go back to that interview that he did. So not only that, they found a guy that had interviewed with called the tip line even, and said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. So it's amazing that the guy that they set up randomly called the tip line and said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. Isn't that amazing, you guys? They sneak into his house and they steal a bullet from him to plant at the crime scene because and then that same person that they stole the bullet from randomly calls the tip line and said he's there from 1:30 to 3:30, and my God, was wearing the same damn clothing. I'm being sarcastic here, you guys. It's ridiculous. The defense team is going to say that they have evidence that when the girls went down the hill over here, they got into a vehicle, and then later on they were moved back to the crime scene over here. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, everybody. Yeah. Why wouldn't you take, for example, their bodies and drive right here, right off of this road, somewhere, and put them somewhere else? I mean, it just is mind-boggling to think that a killer would, while people are searching around, sneak through the woods. And by the way, Libby weighed 200 pounds. If she's not alive, how did they get her down there? You want to answer that question? Common sense, everybody. Common sense, as was said earlier, isn't common anymore. The defense attorney, Bob Mata, who has these shows, and he wants you to believe he's this impartial, logical thinker, gets a seat at the defense table every single day, gets to walk in lazily at 8:30 and sit down and gets to sit there, and you think, I mean, this guy is... Now, people call me a shill, like, oh, Gray's a shill for the prosecutor. No, I'm not. I've been all over the... Like, over the years, we're all over the place following the different leads and shit, all right? My original theory was that if you go back and watch my old live streams from 7 years ago, I would say that I think the killer was there hunting for a victim, and Abby and Libby fell into their trap. And then it turns out law enforcement believes they were targeted, but I mean, can't targeting take place at the moment? Like, oh, here they are, and then you target them. But if the Richard Allen connection is real, then he definitely was there targeting Abby and Libby. I mean, a lot of people are new, so I'm going to show you these pictures here. Let me switch screens. So Richard Allen has a daughter, okay? And that was one of the theories we had. Of course, again, the same newbies, the attorney or the psychologist and the wife reporter pretend that it's all new information. Nobody's ever talked about it. We've talked about it for years, 2 years minimum, that Richard Allen's daughter, and I'll show you a picture here. It doesn't show her face, but this is a picture of her daughter. I mean, look at this picture right here. I would think that this person might be related to Libby. I mean, look at that. Tie-dye shirt. I mean, hell, even her, I mean, women wear their hair up in buns, but it's strange how, like, Abby's hair was up in a bun. So here is, and this is one of the Libby and Abby tie-dye shirts, and this was a picture they took. Now, a lot of people in the town had the t-shirts, the shirts, right? So you had that. And then you have that picture, and then we have, let's see, what's another one? This one. This is a picture of Richard Allen's daughter, and that's platform 1 right here. And there's a picture of her on the bridge. Unbelievable, right? And then you say to yourself, well, is there a possibility that there's some connection to the daughter in some way? And then it turns out that his daughter got engaged. This is what Zozo found out. She got engaged 2 months prior to these homicides. Could that have been the trigger? Who the hell knows? We'll see what happens here at trial. There was information a while back that, the daughter and, maybe her husband, I mean, said something somewhere. I don't know. Don't know. So you have that, and I can also show you, last night we were doing a show, and I just want you to see if you look at it, and if it has, I was trying to compare Richard Allen's physical structure to the guy on the bridge, right? The bridge guy. And law enforcement, and I myself believe that it is the same person. I'm 100% certain that the bridge guy is Richard Allen. I'm not confused, or like I don't go, I'm just not sure. I'm just, the circumstantial evidence along with physical evidence show you that it is him. Now I'll show you, this is what we were doing last night. I've done it before on here. Okay, now this picture right here, that isn't what the actual image looks like. And this isn't something you could use in court. Alright? But this is when he's playing pool. I took a picture that's also blurry when he's playing pool in the dark. And you can see that it's very consistent in there. The sun's coming different, but he's got the goatee on. The nose is in the right spot. It's consistent with. And then you look at the structure of his body. I might probably have to scale this one down a little bit, but you notice how he's got sort of like his legs aren't very long compared to his torso. Same thing over here. right? And I did a long time ago, I did a measurement, and he was 5'3" in my measurement, and it turns out he's 5'4". I was kind of told, I don't know, by one of the experts, but look at that. Doesn't that look consistent right there? You know, of course you could take a guy that's 6'5" with the same proportions and scale him down and they'd look similar. That's not really what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do here is the general proportions, meaning like where his waist is compared to, like his upper torso and legs seem to match the guy on the bridge, all right? Then the picture in the face here, let me get rid of this, like that. See, the picture in the face was when he was playing pool. And if it is the same guy, right, because I believe it is. So Richard Allen's playing pool, and he's the guy on the bridge, right? So if you take that picture and you look at it, let's go like that. See that? Is that picture that I'm overlaying consistent? I think it absolutely is. I mean, I think that thing, you know, like the shadows are coming in from a different side, but he's got the goatee on, the nose in there, etc. All right, so you know, you can do that what you want. I'm just looking at it for myself to say, yeah, you know what? You can't tell me that isn't him. He doesn't have long legs. He's not skinny. He's not, you know. No, it couldn't honestly be any male in town. You're a lunatic. Let's see. I love how people say that. That honestly could be any male in town. You know, I did say a long time ago that a lot of people have the jeans and the blue jackets and everything. But how many of them were there at the bridge that day during a work day at 1:30? You know? Richard Allen was. He even said he was there. You know what he said he was wearing? Let me show you guys this. This is what Richard Allen said he was wearing. Watch this picture right here. Richard Allen said he was wearing blue jeans, a dark blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hoodie, and some sort of head covering. Wow. Well, that's not that guy. It's ridiculous. I was wearing blue jeans, dark blue or black Carhartt jacket with some sort of head covering. And there he is, right there. And he also said he was on platform 1. Okay, he was out on platform 1. And when Betsy Blair got there, guess where she saw the male that looked just like him? Standing on platform 1. Let me ask you, how many males wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with some sort of head covering would be standing on platform 1 within a 10-minute window on a Monday at 1:30? Can you give me the odds of that? Anybody out there? That was Be Kind, one of the conspiracy theorists. Anybody can you think of that? Sure, there's people that wear those kind of clothing in town. How many people at 1:30 in the afternoon on a work day would be standing on platform 1 within a 10-minute window? That's what I thought. Hard to answer that question, isn't it? What's in his pocket? His left hand is in his jean pocket. His right hand is not in his jean pocket. It's propping up a gun, and that's what we've said since the beginning. And guess what? Abby says, is that a gun? He's got a gun. Then they hear a click sound, and he orders a girl down the hill being controlled by a gun. Yeah. You can't see it, but that is what he's propping up. It's a gun. How do you know, Gray? Maybe it's his oxygen tank. Maybe it's the puppy that he had under his shirt, you guys. Maybe it's the GoPro camera on his shoulder, you bastard. And if you notice, can you look at the video here? This is a video that I made. You see how it's different? What was released is the square that's moving around still. I'm moving it around, keeping the bridge stable so you can actually see how this guy walks. You see that? Kind of rocks a little bit back and forth, kind of like that. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm mocking the whiners, Mrs. Krampus, and you're one of those people, unfortunately. Now, the bridge guy is not Klein. Doesn't look anything like him. Now, we sort of wondered at one point if maybe his dad could be that person, but his dad isn't, his dad is taller, way taller, and doesn't have the same structure, it just doesn't work. Keegan Klein weighs 700 pounds. I don't think it would be him. Hey, thanks, Susie from the UK. The bridge would have collapsed if that was Keegan Klein, okay? Let's be honest. They would have had to reconstruct the entire bridge for the trial if it was Keegan Klein. Yeah, sure. We've analyzed the entire crime over the years. This isn't something. It's not confusing to people if you just know the facts of the case. Okay, we'll do it one more time for the stragglers that came in here. Here we go. And then we'll just be back on later, but I'm going to show you. I guess that one shut down. Hold on. I have to open this up. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's just, I think there's people out there that their first, I'd say 90% of the YouTubers covering this case try to argue that Richard Allen's innocent because it's more clicks and views. It's more entertaining for people because then they can put conspiracies and theorize all day long over all these different things. But if you're honest and ethical, you'll actually just see how it's a slam dunk. It's just, it's not like a slam dunk like some cases are where, oh, the guy's caught on video, etc. But if you have a reasonable brain that functions, you'll be able to see that Richard Allen is the guy. Now, a lot of you started watching the trial and the coverage of it and the case, really. You started watching the conspiracy nutter channels, like Slow Joe, all of them, every single one of them. They believe, like, the defense team has put out stuff that's just absolutely false information. What the heck? You're a gypsy? Come on. The clip of Richard Allen doing a little jig at the pool table at his bar, that is when I knew he was the bridge guy. Yeah, that guy. Dancing a jig. You guys ever seen that one? I've got that video right here. I think it's this one. And this is what I just used a minute ago for the... See, there he is. He's playing pool. Look at that. That's the face I just used. See that? He's right there, and look at, he's got the hat on. And it was right around in this point right here. See that? Boom. Right in that area is when, and I used the image that the bridge guy has, because this is the same guy. And look at right here. He does this stupid little fish dance thing. What a wacko. Look at this guy. And he's not really meager, Around that time, he was a strong person. Look at this picture of him right here. He looks totally normal there, doesn't he? I don't think somebody go, oh man, look at that creepy, ugly guy. He just looked like a normal guy. This is 2017, right? And that's the same time that this picture was taken. It's actually, I have the full shot. It's this one right here. See, that's him just standing there. He doesn't look weak at all, does he? Man, there's nothing weak there. He looks like some guy. Look at the big calves and everything. He could easily do all this, but now he looks like this withered away little golem-looking creature. Like as he started to get over the years, like this picture right there, maybe this one. He starts getting a little bit, fading away. But look at that beard. That is exactly what you picture in the video. And here's another picture of him back then. Totally different looking guy than the pathetic version that he's trying to show now. But wow, thank you so much up there. What am I looking? Oh, sorry guys. Sorry about that. God, I always do that on here. Let me start over again. I'll show you that again. It's hard to know because I have 3 monitors and one monitor has the video. So this is what we were looking at. Here he is playing pool. I see everybody typing in now. We wasted about 3 or 4 minutes there. Sorry about that. Anyways, here he is. He's playing pool. Let me get this other crap off the screen. None of that's... Not sure how to get rid of the stuff at the top. Those numbers aren't valid or anything. But look at him dancing around. What a wacko, huh? Yeah, I do that. So I do that so often. I just happen to not look at the chat for the look it. Yeah, so right around here, right there, that's the one I used for the shot on the bridge, right? It's him. He's looking forward, kind of down a little bit. So you've got that. And let me go back through all the other stuff that I was trying to show you guys. Man, that was like 5 minutes, now that I think about it. Here's a picture of him. He's a strong guy, right? Look at him. He's not like, oh, he's some weak person. This is back in around the time of the homicides, this image right here. And then here's a picture of him, you know. Like that picture, he looks like a normal dude. That's the one I was talking about. He's not like, oh my God, what a creepy looking wacko. He looks like you think of that now because he is that, right? And then the other pictures I was showing are like, you have that one. That beard looks exactly like what you picture in the crime scene photo. You see that? And then this is what he was looking like at the end, before he was arrested. See how he's withering away? I always kind of looked at it like this. The guilt of what he did made him, he sort of withered away over those 5 years. And I mean, look what he was looking like later, you know. He was just trying to make himself look different, you know. I mean, does this guy here look anything like the hiker that we just saw a minute ago? Look at that. You wouldn't even know that that was the same person at all. And so he sort of looks more like that now. This picture right here is what he looks like when he has the drooling on his shirt. And sorry for wasting your guys' time a minute ago. Yeah. Anyways, there we go. This is my this program right here cost me $1,600 a year, but it's sweet. And here we go. It's called 3D Studio Max. So thank you up there to your gypsy. You just helped cover 1/8 of that damn thing. All right, it's loading right now. Well, they said that there were some items missing. I think it was like one sock and something else. Wouldn't it be amazing if they found the sock at his house and they just haven't mentioned it yet? Because the probable cause document that we see, you guys, was written before he was even, well, like it was, that was to get the search warrant. That's what we read. Okay, so after the search warrant, what else did they find to help fill in the box here? None of the negative stuff the defense team will ever mention. Hey, Fig. About to hit the road, so we'll be listening crazy. The trial's finally here, and yes, I hope they found something in his house or car. Yeah. So let's just do this again for people coming in late here. There's a lot of people that don't know this because they just watch the channels that won't tell you this. I took the probable cause document and turned it into a visual animation, which the prosecutors should use in this case. And if they don't, they blew it. Because this is how you do it. Look. The three girls are... there's these three girls here. There's actually a fourth, okay? But she's a little girl that's 9 years old, and she isn't one of the witnesses, and Richard Allen likely just didn't see her because she's little, and she, you know, was probably next to her sister or something. This is at 12:43. They're at the start of the bridge, just where that photograph of Richard Allen's daughter was, right? So it's right there. And those girls eventually make it to the bench at 126 over here. There's a bench. They took a photograph. I have that image. That's at 126. So they're just hanging out. I mean, it took them a long time to even get there. So they're just doing stuff. I don't know how they, where they were in the meantime. 1243 and then 126 here. That only takes like 8 minutes to walk there. But, if they're here at 1243, then that means they got there at the very latest at like 1225 or something. Right? Richard Allen's second story was that he got to the bridge from 12 and he left at 1:30. His initial story that he told Dan Doolin was he got there at 1:30 and he left at 3:30. These girls here verify that, and not only that, at 126 they're at the bench here. Now watch it. 127, Richard Allen's black Ford Focus drives by the Hoosier Hardware Store, which is that building. And it parks at the abandoned CPS building, probably 129-ish. Backs in. Who knows if he's sitting there making sure he's got everything he needs, etc. Then the girls, those same three girls, start walking, and they run into him after he gets off the Freedom Bridge right here. He passes the three girls, and they see him too. So they both admit to seeing each other. Then Richard Allen, it takes 11 minutes. So I assume this is about 1:35 when they pass. And it takes 11 minutes, I would say. So let's just be generous. 1:44 to 1:46, he makes it to the bridge because he said he went to the bridge to look at fish. One of them he was walking, looking at his stock ticker. Now look at the red car right there. I'm backing up again. So then Betsy Blair drives underneath Old State Road 25 and those four girls. She looks up and sees the four girls. Then she drives around and parks her car right here. And 2 minutes after she gets there, Abby and Libby are dropped off. So she's just barely down the trail when they're dropped off. But she's there to exercise, so she's quicker. And Abby and Libby are just hanging out, taking pictures, video, whatever. So she's moving much faster. And then she goes to the bridge, 50 feet from Richard Allen, sees a man standing on platform 1 wearing blue jeans, dark blue jacket, etc. She described him as having brown curly hair, whatever. But that was just her memory a couple days later, right? But it is Richard Allen because Richard Allen himself said he got there and he went straight to the bridge. So then Betsy Blair walks by Abby and Libby. She remembers passing them. And that means the next person they're going to see is Richard Allen. And then Betsy Blair continues to walk, virtually clearing the trail of any other male. She saw nobody else, got to her car and left. And I'm backing up again. So Richard Allen waits in the background. Then he comes on the bridge, follows them, and has them go down the hill, and then takes them across the creek. And this is where they were found killed years, the next day. But this is where they were, and the video's years later is what I made this video this about a year ago, or maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, this animation here. And it's using the probable cause document. How is there an out for Richard Allen here? There isn't, nobody else saw another male. These girls, the three girls, when they were walking, they didn't see anybody either. So Richard Allen wasn't there yet. And then he finally gets there at about 1:35 is when he passes those girls at the bridge at 1:46. Even if he sprinted like Carl Lewis, he wouldn't be able to get past her going this way. And then they themselves said, oh, well, Richard Allen left by at least 2:15. Okay, well, then that means you're admitting then he didn't leave at 1:30 like he said in the second interview, so he lied there. Anyways, I hope you guys can see this. It's just so obvious. And then at the crime scene, they find a bullet that matched the bullet. So let me rewind it right here. In the video, when the girls, Abby and Libby in the pink and tan there, they walk off, and at the end of the bridge, he cycles a bullet and puts it in the chamber and tells the girls down the hill. Then they're forced across the creek. However that happened, they make their way across the creek and they're dead. I think he tried to assault them in this low corner here. Something happened, interrupted, and then he brought them over here. Don't know, though. Don't know how it all panned out yet. They're probably have a theory based on forensic evidence. And then at the crime scene, he ejected that very same bullet out of his Sig Sauer gun at the crime scene. And it was a .40 caliber bullet. And once they went and reviewed all the notes and found this individual, they got a search warrant, and they went into the house. They found the Sig Sauer. They tested other bullets ejected, and it has the same ejection marks as his bullet. One of Richard Allen's temporary attorneys said how damning that information was. And then he's confessed 63 times, and the many of them, likely the early ones, or the ones, some of them were recorded, that have information that only the killer would have known. Yeah, right. Why didn't Richard Allen see the bridge guy? Wouldn't he? Why didn't he say, you know what? I saw this guy that looked like a twin of mine walking around. It's amazing. You're on the wrong thing, Mother Mary. You're incorrect. You're incorrect, Mother Mary. I know that you listen to the wrong shows. That's why if you listen to this one, you'll be on the right path. The bullet that cannot be excluded was Brad. What's her name? Kay Weber. Brad Weber's gun. The bullet ejected from his gun could not be excluded. Richard Allen had a match. Okay, so you got that wrong. You might want to go back to the drawing board. Right. Didn't have a mirror with him. What? Makes no sense. Let's see. No, we don't ban people for giving a different opinion. We ban people that do the insults. It's like, that's so crazy. It never happens in here. I ban people who are, like, it's almost they're intentionally trolling when they make comments. For example, I won't ban the person, but up above when they said, the bullet doesn't match, it just cannot be excluded. Extraction marks are not rifling. That handgun model, see, that person's incorrect. So you'd almost think that they came in here trolling with that answer. They can, Mother Mary, you're incorrect, yet again. All right. Let's see. Yeah, and you know what? I've gone over this case, and I don't even care about the bullet. I used to just do this whole thing and go, oh yeah, and then the bullet. Richard Allen is this person. His vehicle passes the Hoosier Harvester, or one that looks just like his. He told police he parked at the old Farm Bureau building, but that's not here, it's downtown. So it's this building right here, and then eventually he said he parked by an old building. So he parked right here, goes to the Freedom Bridge, and then he walks down the trail and he passes the three girls here. They saw him and he saw them. Does anybody dispute that? Or are you pretending that there was another set of three girls that he actually saw at noon that never came forward? And also these three girls at the bridge here, they never saw him. They were there at 12:43. That means we're over here. They were walking this way and this way. They never saw anybody other than when they were leaving. And they all saw the same person, even though they described them differently. Like one said he was wearing all black, one said he was wearing blue jeans and a blue jacket, and another one said light blue jeans and a dark blue jacket. Okay, and so those are similar but different. You know what I mean? Like there isn't three guys in a pack walking right there. And see, the difference that they had is the same difference that Betsy Blair has in her description. The person on the bridge, when she was shown an image of the bridge guy, she said, yep, that's the guy, even though she described him with brown curly hair. Well, there's no curly hair in the bridge guy image. So, what's the deal with that? So I don't know, man. I don't know what... Betsy Blair is a problem in terms of... It would have been great if she just had a really good memory of that. And there were three different descriptions of a vehicle parked, but all in the same spot at the abandoned CPS building. One of them was a purple PT Cruiser, the other one was a dark smart car, and the other one was I don't remember what the other one was, but they're all similar. They have the slanted roof in the back. It's, you know, like the hatchback, I guess, kind of look to it. And if you look at them, you can see how there's like driving by, not knowing you're supposed to remember anything, how somebody's memory might say that. That's what I think. I think the brown hat she just thought was hair. You know, she does say brown and the hat's brown, so. I showed that yesterday on my show if you want to go. I don't know where that is right this second. I drove by the Hoosier Harvest store and I showed you guys the camera. So when Bob Motta apparently was telling people the other day there's no camera there, well, it just wasn't the truth. All right? And if you want to really look for a shill in the case, Bob Motta is the shill. I have no, you know, other than agreeing with the prosecution, I don't have a connection. They don't feed me information. I don't have anything. Bob Motta works for the defense team, basically. He literally gets a seat with them at the trial. He gets to have the sort of the social media. Hey, what's the new buzz? What kind of shit stuff can we say this time to sucker people in? Oh, it's going to be great. It's ridiculous, you know. The other three female Baldwin claimed were present must have used an Odinism invisibility cloak. Yeah, those ones. Well, what their argument's going to be is, well, Richard Allen saw these three girls when he came in at noon, but those three girls didn't see him, therefore they never came forward. Okay. Is that even, I mean, it's just, it's going to be complete lunacy here. Did Richard Allen ever say why he was out there in the first? Well, he said he went there to look at his stocks and look at fish off the bridge. Let me ask you guys something. Do you ever, a park like this, it's just a trail and a bridge at the end. Who normally, as an adult, goes and hangs out at a place like that for 2 hours? Nobody does, okay? And especially if you're just going to go to the bridge, look at a fish. It's a 22-minute round trip. Okay, what are you doing for the other hour and 40 minutes? You're just sitting there, just twiddling your thumbs? I don't even think he's a smoker. I went over it last night. You know, if you're somebody who smokes cigarettes and you're sitting on a park bench, you look normal because you're doing something. If you're sitting on a park bench and you don't have a book or anything and you're just sitting there, you look like an absolute psycho, all right? You look like a nut job. So if he's standing on the... I don't know, man. Richard Allen, he admits to being there. He even admitted to standing on platform 1. He's confessed with information only the killer knows. And that's it, man. It's it. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you want to... This case is... Once the jury hears the confessions, then the weight of the circumstantial evidence gets a lot... Like, your mind doesn't wander anymore. You know, you start going... I mean, my mind didn't wander even after seeing it because it's just common freaking sense. Absolutely. Common sense here. Those three girls, 126 at the bench. Then they start heading out, slowly doing whatever they're doing. Then Richard Allen passes them right here. It is him. He admits it. He saw them. They saw him. He said he got there at 1:30. Right? Then he walks this direction. Forget the Betsy Blair stuff over there when they pass under. It doesn't even matter. He walks to the bridge. He would have got there at 1:46 or so, because he got 1:35 is when they passed. That's about a minute before Betsy Blair pulls up to the parking area. He couldn't have sprinted past. Even if it was 2 minutes earlier, he couldn't have done it. He'd have to be running to get past. And then Betsy Blair goes to the bridge and sees Richard Allen standing on platform 1 exactly where he said he was standing. She said that he was wearing... Let's do it. He said he was wearing light blue jeans, a dark blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hoodie, and some sort of head covering. Then he's standing on platform. I mean, it's just unreal, you guys. He's standing on platform 1, exactly where he said he was standing when Betsy Blair saw him. Then she turns around and she leaves because she's just there to exercise. So she didn't really. First of all, she barely was there at all, and he's 50 feet away. So her vision and her remembering isn't that great. Then Betsy Blair walks past Abby and Libby. So who is it that Abby and Libby are going to pass next? Well, you might say, well, Richard Allen was that guy, but he left. Well, he couldn't have left because Betsy Blair is still on the trails up here and never saw him. Well, maybe he went into the woods for some reason. Well, why? To hide? Anyways, Betsy Blair makes it to here, and that means Richard Allen never went anywhere past like this area, because Betsy Blair would have seen him if he was standing there. So he's still in this area when the girls are at the end of the bridge. And then he takes them down the hill, cocks a gun with a bullet in the chamber, down the hill, takes them across the creek, and then later they found an unspent .40 caliber bullet that he likely ejected at the crime scene and just couldn't find on the ground, and they linked it to his Sig Sauer .40 caliber being ejected from his gun, and he's confessed numerous times with information that only the killer would know. And good night now. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for this show here. I'll be getting the other notes, and we'll just have to go through the whole thing again tonight. But, it's sad to, you're listening to descriptions of clothing that you see literally in this photograph here. This sweatshirt right here, that was Kelsey's, was in the water. The jeans were in the water. I think her underwear were in the water. Socks, And then later they find her wearing this same pink shirt with Libby's black Delphi sweatshirt on top with Libby's jeans on, and then she also has these shoes back on herself, the same shoes. Underneath her body was Libby's shoe, and underneath the shoe was the cell phone. So one of the black Nike shoes, and the other Nike shoe of Libby was found in the water. So pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy. Anyways, wow, you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Especially, well, it's not even listed on here, but Your Gypsy. That was amazing. So thanks, Your Gypsy, early on, and then Seeb3835, then Angela Pepper, Cheryl Bullock, Tammy Lee, Archive Gig, T-Chosen again, Georgina Stoliker, then T-Chosen, then Mindy22, Susie, and K-Me. We didn't get any new members during this one, but I'll be back on later this evening. So if you're somebody out there that wants the view of, sort of logical thinking using the facts of the case, this is where you want to be. If you want to do mental gymnastics to try to find a way to free a child killer, you can go watch the other people. All right? So thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you. It's absolutely true what I just told you, too. Yeah, anyways, thank you so much, Your Gypsy, for that very, I don't know, yeah, let me know if you didn't intend to do the 300, all right? Because that was like one of the biggest super chats I ever got on here. But anyways, thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys later this evening. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And listen to this rap we made years ago. Oh, there's a little bunny.
Yeah, I've been doing this true
the trigger bunny, honey. It ain't funny.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher
if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar.
Professor Gragel's gonna give another
Lecture, crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pub protector.
Interceptor,
and I'm meaner than a spectre.
with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have have no agenda. I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
All right, everybody. We'll see you guys later, and be safe out there.